Incidents on our expressways or tollways, but we do have some overnight road work delays because of through those construction zones. So I'll walk through a couple projects that are still out there right now, including on the outbound Stevenson. Crews have the 2 left lanes blocked here between Kedzie and Pulaski, and that is definitely our biggest delay on the outbound Stevenson. Also, crews are working here. They have the right lane down westbound I-290 from Manheim to St. Charles Road. Not as big of a delay, but it is definitely still out there. We'll give you another update in 10 minutes and talk to you about some other delays you might be seeing as you're heading out the door. Back road work, we're not seeing delays through this construction zone, although crews might still be out there. Outbound Edens, crews have the 2 right lanes down between Niles Center Road and Lincoln. Also on the inbound side of the Edens as well between Lincoln and Niles Center Road. Again, the Edens looking okay right now. Could be the low volume of traffic, or crews could have picked up their overnight road work early here. Also outbound Kennedy, 2 left lanes might still be blocked right now between Lawrence and Austin, but not seeing huge delay through this area. Also showing you the Kennedy right now near Fullerton. You can see the express lanes are open and it is smooth sailing right now. Back to you, ladies.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Work zones or just trafficking a little bunched up on our expressways. Not terrible though. Still very low volume of traffic this time of morning. This project could still be out there for the next 10 minutes or so. Eastbound I-80 crews having the right lane down between Wheeler and Richards Street. Again, not a huge delay, but you might still slow down as you approach that construction zone. A check of our tollways have now gone away now that crews picked up the overnight road work, so it's wide open right now on our expressways, not tracking any big delays or any incidents out there. So that's some good news as you're heading out the door. Showing you what the Dan Ryan looks like right now in the area of 35th. Smooth sailing, no big backups here right now. A quick 15-minute trip from 95th into downtown. Let's check our tollways. Delays, no traffic incidents, so really should be smooth sailing wherever you're heading out the door this morning. Once you get closer to Grant Park, starting at 6 o'clock, we will have more road closures that will go into effect for the Taste of Chicago, which is next Wednesday. So starting at 6 a.m., Columbus will close between Monroe and Balbo. So will Ida B. Wells between Congress Plaza Drive and Columbus. So again, that is starting at 6 o'clock this morning. This is the area we were talking about. You can see some white tents that are already set up here, and I'm seeing some flashing lights, which means they are in place and getting ready to shut this stretch down. So again, this will be in place throughout next week as well. So just a heads up if you're driving around Grant Park starting this morning. Back to you, ladies.
Stephanie.
Volume super nice and light. You shouldn't run into any big delays out there. We do have a new stall just happened here outbound Stevenson as you're approaching the Dan Ryan. Not sure if it's blocking a lane of traffic because we're really not seeing a huge delay moving through that area, but just a heads up, you might see that as you're heading out the door. Now, starting today, construction crews will be going on the 4th of July holiday break, so there will be no additional construction closures on the expressways from 3 o'clock today until after midnight on Sunday. Also on the tollways, there will be no additional construction closures. That starts at noon today till 9 a.m. on Sunday. So a little relief if you are heading out the door and you are traveling somewhere. Should get a little relief on the roads, whether today or you're traveling tomorrow or this weekend. Back to you. Cases though, including the Dan Ryan as you get close to the Stevenson, typical for this time of morning. We do have a new crash that IDOT is heading to right now, northbound I-57. It's just past 107th Street. You can see some delays as you're approaching 107th. We know IDOT is en route. Not sure if any lane is blocked here, but just a heads up, crews will be there soon. Also, crews have arrived to this stall outbound Stevenson, and we know the right lane is blocked here approaching the Dan Ryan, so that is out there as you're heading out the door. Back to you here, but it will not run because of a crew shortage, so they're using outbound train 307 instead to accommodate those passengers, but it leaves an hour later, leaving Chicago at 6:32 this morning. So in case that is your typical train, that's your typical route to work, definitely check your app before you go. You might want to come up with alternate transportation because it is leaving an hour later there. Then yes, looking at the roads, typical delays starting to build right now. Not terrible out there at all, but let's check The Rosemont camera showing you what it looks like right now in the I-190 ramp. If you are catching a flight this morning, not backed up at all. So some good news here. Yes, not seeing any big delays as you're heading to the airport. But Heisel, will people run into any issues? We're at Calumet Avenue. It is causing delays, as you can see. This is the crash right here. It looks like a one vehicle crash. Maybe the car hit the wall here, so it's blocking the left lane, sort of sitting horizontal there, blocking that lane. So heads up. We are seeing some delays as you're approaching Calumet Avenue. Also, crews are still out with this stall on outbound Stevenson. At one point, it was blocking two right lanes as you're approaching the Dan Ryan. Now they have that vehicle off in the shoulder, but we are hearing that there is a medical emergency associated with this stall. So Chopper 7 is going to fly overhead and see if that is still out there and if we're seeing any delays with that as well. So we'll have that coming up in our next hit about 10 minutes. Back to you, ladies.
Stephanie, thank you. Disney is celebrating America's